Welcome to another Transformers Prime review. This time we're looking at the Voyager class first edition Bulkhead figure. Now, after the new figures release or announcement at Toy Fair, I decided to really actively pursue this guy, Cliffjumper, and Starscream, which you've seen in my previous video. If you haven't already, pretty long video. Got two of them, one to display and package because he's a collectible by now, because the figure itself was canceled in the United States along with first edition Optimus, Cliffjumper, and Viacon. So this is the Canadian version, which is why it says first edition in 3 different languages up there. And that's him in vehicle mode. So we're going to be taking a look at the figure. I'm not going to go over the box just because I already went over it in extent on the Optimus one. Pretty much the same. So let's take a look at the figure itself. After messing around with Bulkhead for a while, I can honestly say that he is damn near perfect. Reason why I decided to really get this one because I'm severely disappointed in the RID version we will be getting. It looks like pure shit. If you listen to Primecast, both Wyatt and I really just talked about how we really wanted just the RID one to be a decent one because we knew this one would be a hard figure to come by, but that wish was not granted. And I can honestly say that this figure is, in some ways, it is better than the first edition Optimus Prime, and that's saying a lot because I absolutely love this figure. This has a better transformation, and just overall. The way this figure works, it has a very small vehicle mode and balloons out into a rather big robot. So enough about general opinions. Here he is in vehicle mode, which is a really badass looking Jeep SUV truck hybrid thing, kind of like a Hummer H3 H3T, I believe, where it has a truck bed. He has the wrecking ball right here. A lot of people complain about the wrecking ball placement. I mean, who really cares? It's not really hurting the figure. You can take it off if you want. It does have a little bit of robot kibble on the bottom, but it's not too obtrusive. It still rolls like a champ. Panel lines is a little bit of an issue, just because there's so much going on during the transformation. I can really forgive it because it works really well. Vehicle mode is actually a little bit small. Let's pan out. Bring up Voyager class animated Bulkhead. You can see just how bulky this one looks. Bulkhead, bulky. And the leader class Bulkhead. So got a pretty wide range of bulkheads here. And animated one or Prime one is definitely the smallest in vehicle mode, but that doesn't mean much. So we're actually going to be taking a look at all these in robot mode at the end of this video. Put them back up there. Yeah, I love this vehicle mode, even though getting the panels lined up is a little bit of a pain, and especially getting the legs all tucked away up here is really tricky, and getting these panels down here is also tricky, but I'll be going over that more in detail in the transformation. Just getting the front end of the vehicle looking natural is also a little bit of a pain because there's so many different panels just trying to overlap each other here. Front does look a little bit of a mess because you can basically see his feet there. But yeah, I really like the clear windows on the doors here. Front window is semi see-through. Yeah. No Autobot symbols though on here, which is odd. Neither are there any robot mode either. So yeah, I love this vehicle mode. It's nice, small, and basically looks perfectly on model with the animation model. So yep, who cares really? I mean, yeah, this does look ridiculous, but it's not hurting the figure. You can just take it off. I don't quite understand what the big deal is about that. So let's get on to the transformation. To start the transformation, first thing you're going to do, if you haven't taken this off already, is take off the wrecking ball. Then, a really interesting thing in the design, just kind of pull the whole bottom section down, which it's on a slider here, and that was really cool when I figured that out. And going to separate the legs and just kind of stretch them all out. That was also kind of tricky. I didn't realize that the knee was actually on a kind of a double hinge type thing, so it can actually curl up into that position for the truck mode. So let's get that back down, both legs, and just need to fold out the feet like so. This whole section will fold down, and this will peg into, actually first I'm gonna get a little ahead of myself. Need to lift up the roof panels, hood roof panels here, and these will slide up like so, and this will peg into place there. And the headlights actually come out a little bit. You can turn up. Already looks, ow, that actually kind of hurt. Already looks a lot better than the RID version. And then I'm gonna just kind of jiggle everything loose here. Lift up this piece, which you'll be able to swing out the arms, which are attached to all the doors. Come on. Okay, these parts need to fold up, and there we go. I forgot about that part. And then, wow, I was severely off camera there. Make sure the doors are out of the way. The doors will swing forward like this. Okay. And you need to, before I get too much ahead of myself, need to rotate the head out like that. Get that up. Get the arms up out of the way. Then I'm going to bring this panel down. This will allow me to bring the rest of these panels out, and that will peg into place onto his backpack here. Like, there it is. So I like this backpack. I mean, it's pretty show accurate. I'm not, it doesn't bother me all that much. I don't find it very hindering, as a lot of people do. Fold down the hands like so. There you go. This one is a little bit stiff actually. And then bring in the shoulder pieces, and there you have Bulkhead in his very awesome looking robot mode. And Bulkhead's robot mode is absolutely amazing. As a toy by itself, I do have to think that it is better than first edition Optimus Prime in just a pure transformation, because there's so much going on here, while the first edition Optimus Prime is more or less kind of simple. This one is very complex and very fun to do. As far as articulation goes, he does have a ball joint on his head, but it is pretty limited due to his enormous chin and just a lack of a long neck. He does have two swivels in his shoulder one for this motion, one for outward. And he does have an elbow hinge with a bicep swivel, which is really tight on this one arm and relatively tight on this one. He does have a wrist swivel, but it does, I mean, it goes in and out, but that's where the transformation in his weapon. It doesn't, however, like turn this way. No waist articulation, but that's really because of the transformation, and I can forgive it because it's pretty complex, and I thought it would be impossible for it to have a waist joint anyway. It does have a kind of a weird hinge in his hip, and for side-to-side motion, and double-hinged knee, which is kind of finicky at points, and his feet are articulated in toes and heels. So you can get some pretty cool ones, but nothing too dynamic. Use his weapon, fold in his fist, which resembles one of his cannons, even though the barrel would be a little bit on the small side. I think it can make for a passable cannon, especially when you have both of them out. But its main intention is to be a port for his wrecking ball weapon, which attaches right there. And he's got that. Looks pretty cool. I mean, and the wrecking ball itself has some fairly nice detailing overall. Looks like a wrecking ball, as it should. So let's get really close on Bulkhead and see the details. He does have painted blue eyes, which I really like. I've always liked painted eyes over light piping, especially in one's electronics, because unless you have the lights going on or have a light behind them, they just look dead, while painted eyes make it more look alive. That was kind of backwards, but you get the idea. Looks really, really nice. And here's a size comparison with Voyager class Bulkhead in robot mode. You see that he was very small in comparison to him in vehicle mode, but he stands way taller than the Voyager class. And here he is with the leader class Bulkhead, and they are pretty much, well, you can't even see him. Bulkhead, the leader class animated Bulkhead is just a little bit taller head to toe, but overall is just beefier because there's just a lot more plastic. And for one more size comparison, just hold on 1 second. Here he is next to first edition. Fuck me. Here he is next to Voyager class first edition Optimus Prime, which is in really good scale with each other. Optimus is just barely taller than him, which it should be. And here he is next to his fellow wrecker and best friend, Wheeljack. So these two look really good together. So he's in perfect scale with any of the Prime figures. So as a whole, this is definitely one of the better, probably one of the best figures to come out in the Prime line. But it is really sad that it was canceled for main release in the United States, which automatically made it was already going to be short packed anyway. 1 to a case, what with 4? I mean, out of a case of 4, it would be 1 Bulkhead, 3 Optimuses. So it is already would be kind of hard to find, and not to mention that it had been canceled in the US, which made it super hard to find. I was lucky I was able to get a couple of them, but some other people won't be so lucky that can't get stuff online, and that's a real shame because this one is so much better than the RAD one. If you mean bring it up to the side, the RAD one just looks super generic in comparison to this one, and that really gave me inspiration to pursue getting this figure. I do not regret it at all, because this figure is a damn near masterpiece of a Transformer. I don't have any complaints about it. The only thing I could really think about nitpicky wise is that I wish just when you pull it in the hand it looked a little bit more like a gun, but that's super nitpicky. Other than that, I don't have any complaints about him. I don't care about how small the truck mode is. I think it's appropriate. It looks good. I love the transformation. It's really complex but really fun at the same time, and you get a really awesome looking robot mode. And if you have the means to do so, I would say either buy it, trade for it. If you're in Canada, get it while you can, or the Philippines, or in Japan, get the Takara one. Even though I do like the Hasbro green better, I don't know. I just never cared for that shiny metallic green, especially on the Voyager class animated Bulkhead. I thought that looked absolutely just atrocious. I just much prefer this darker, just matte military green look to him. But I digress. I really suggest, if you're able to, buy, trade, somehow manage to get hold of at least one version of this figure, because unless you really don't, but because if you don't have the means to do so, you're going to have to settle for an inferior figure, which I'm not really looking forward to doing. I'm going to get it just for review purposes, but I'm not looking forward to it at all. I think this one is a way better figure. Just from looking at the new one's come out, looks really generic, super crappy weapons. It has that Powerizer gimmick. Powerizer? Yeah, gimmick. Overall, this is just a way better figure, and like I said, this will be a third time. If you had the means to do so, get this figure, because you won't regret it, because this is just so awesome. And right now, it's probably my favorite Prime figure at the moment. Until next time, thank you for watching.